I have looked forward to renewing this tradition of giving a State of the County speech to the Greater Houston Partnership. Thanks to the partnership for making it happen. There's a backstory there that we can talk about at another time. But as you will hear in my remarks, I hope much more will come from this partnership with the partnership, because we have a lot of work to do. And speaking of ordinary Texans, I asked the League of Women Voters to be involved again with this event because I am hopeful. I am hopeful that politics and government will return to civility and getting more people talking about real issues and voting in all elections. We need that desperately. To the Sheriff's Honor Guard, thank you not just for being here today, but for representing all those in law enforcement who keep us safe every day and who, when disasters occur, are the first to jump in, literally, to save lives. Those are the first responders. And Cardinal DiNardo, your presence is an honor. As representative of spiritual leaders of all faiths, you should be a reminder to all believers, particularly those in government and politics, that wrapping oneself in the mantle of faith does not allow you to pick and choose how to apply that faith. So thank you for being here today. Before giving the official speech, let me begin on a personal note. In life, and certainly in government, it's easy to rock along comfortably, maybe changing a few things as needed. But sometimes events happen that shake our worlds and cause us to say, wow, I didn't see that coming. August 2017 did that to me. No doubt it did that to others in this room. I hope we can maintain that wow factor and put it to good use for years to come and not fall back into complacency. You know, the given topic of this annual speech is always the state of Harris County. Today I'm changing the topic. The topic today is going to be the future of Harris County. We're not going to talk about what is, we're going to talk about what needs to come. In recent weeks and months, two events have captured our hearts and minds. A storm named Harvey and a baseball team called the Astros. While Harvey was a matter of life and death, the Astros really wasn't a matter of life and death. We thought it was in some of the late inning games. But at the end, winning the World Series was just a sporting event. But boy, was it important to our community. Both, however, show the need to focus on the future. Rather than continue along the so-called normal path after buying the Astros, Jim Crane and his management team, including Reed Ryan, who, Reed, if you would stand up, I know they want to applaud you and the Astros one more time. Jim Crane and his management team made some hard decisions to focus on the future. As a result, there were a few years of suffering by the team, by the players, by the fans. But it was all worth it, because now the Astros are world champions and will be a dominant baseball franchise in the coming years. If we make some hard decisions now, Harris County will be an equally dominant franchise in its field. The rains spawned by Hurricane Harvey were unprecedented, and perhaps we will never see anything like them again. But we cannot ignore the fact that our area has suffered 3 so-called 500-year rain events in the past 2 years, and too many parts of our county have flooded repeatedly. Either our definition of a 500-year reign needs to be updated, or we can hope that we're free and clear for the next 1,500 years. Obviously, we cannot rest our future on such false hope. So last month, I put forth a 15-point plan to help prevent flooding devastation in the future. The plan is not meant to be exhaustive, nor do I suggest that the ideas are original with me. Harris County and I are simply in the best position to drive the process. As county judge, I might not have the power to bring all these proposals to fruition, but I can certainly be the loud voice, making sure they are pursued and not forgotten. Overarching the plan are two key aspects, and you can rest easy, I'm not going through all 15 points on the plan. First, we should turn a perceived vulnerability into a real asset. Our overriding vision should be to convert the area rivers, bayous, creeks, and flood mitigation features into nature preserves or recreational and tourist areas. The second key aspect of the plan is to leverage and coordinate resources and planning at all levels, from federal to local, from Congress all the way to municipal utility districts. Just a few examples. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA have many projects that need to be finished. They need to be funded. They need to be funded by the federal government, their federal agencies. The state of Texas could accomplish a lot simply by using a fraction of its $10 billion rainy day fund to design and construct a new third reservoir and create a permanent nature preserve on the Katy Prairie. They can do that. But I have no illusions. The federal and state governments will not send enough financial help to do everything that is needed in our area. Harris County taxpayers will be asked in the not distant future to fund a specific list of flood control projects that Commissioner Cagle and the other commissioners and I and John Blunt and Russ Poppy and all the county employees that are involved put together. And we'll have to finance that through a bond issue. And we're going to need your support. And that day is coming. We simply cannot keep kicking the can down the road. Why? Because I fear that many Americans and others around the world perceive Houston and Harris County as a flood-prone swamp. We must act quickly to change that perception. During Harvey, the response of our residents and the cooperative spirit among government officials showed our can-do attitude. From the Harris County Office of Emergency Management to first responders to volunteers with boats and high-water vehicles to the magnificent efforts of the Baker Ripley team in setting up and operating the best shelter ever seen in this very building, by the way, the world saw something special. And since Speaker Strauss gave me credit for doing that, I want to have the person who really did it stand up, and that's Angela Blanchard, the CEO of Baker Ripley. So what do we do now? Let us capture that special caring for each other in other aspects of life. Flood control is the top priority going forward, but we cannot forget other areas of concern. The Harris County Jail is still the largest mental health facility in the state of Texas. Even though Harris County has had a successful jail diversion pilot project for people with mental health issues, there are simply too few resources to accommodate those in need. The state of Texas should work with the medical community to greatly expand mental health facilities and services. The Harris Center for Mental Health and Intellectual and Developmental Disability, formerly MHMRA, which was a lot easier to say, should re-examine all mental health programs offered in Harris County. Again, working with the broader medical community and the Texas Medical Center could provide a goldmine of innovation. We should lead the world in that effort. Everyone in this room is surely aware of the turmoil, uncertainty, and skyrocketing costs associated with health care. Harris County is buffeted by that issue more than any other. Harris Health, formerly known as the Harris County Hospital District, is responsible for providing indigent health care. And the property taxpayers of Harris County have to pick up the tab. More than 25% of the Harris County tax bill goes straight to Harris Health. In recent years, Harris Health has done a good job of managing their resources and working with other health care providers to give quality care. But remember, Harris Health has little control over who their customers are, what their patient load is, and they have almost no control over the cost associated with that care. So the next time a state official makes a big deal about a fraction of a cent tax cut in the property tax, ask them why they won't help Harris County property taxpayers fund indigent health care. State leaders who are eager to seek federal dollars for disaster relief should also be willing to accept federal dollars to provide health care for poor people. That would be real property tax relief. Perhaps 40 or 50 times more than what some people are touting. More about taxes later. I'm not through with that subject. Of course, transportation improvements will continue to be necessary if Harris County and this region are to continue to prosper and grow and live up to our potential as the gateway of North America. As chairman of the Texas Freight Advisory Committee, I was pleased to present the committee's comprehensive freight transportation plan to the Texas Transportation Commission 2 weeks ago. That plan recognizes the need for an I-69 bypass around the east side of Harris County, and it designates freight corridors in our areas that must be improved. But more importantly, the 2017 freight plan calls for more emphasis on multimodal movement of freight. We cannot build enough highways or have enough truck drivers to meet the coming demand. A renewed emphasis on railroads and installing new technology will be the keys to moving the additional freight to and from Port Houston and other area ports. But Harvey had an impact there too. Harvey will no doubt cause the public and policymakers to do more in-depth analysis of the impact of transportation projects on drainage. And we can't take those analyses lightly. We cannot go back in time and undo some poor decisions, but we can learn from those decisions. One of the most glaring mistakes was the failure to convert the abandoned Katy rail line to commuter rail. Think about that. We had a straight shot from Katy all the way into downtown. There are also clear examples of roadways that inadvertently added to our drainage woes. We must avoid such mistakes in the future. As I've said at least twice already today, flood prevention has become job one. As the Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, I have the privilege of directing the nation's best Office of Emergency Management. Harris County's Emergency Operations Center is state-of-the-art. Working with the county commissioners, other officials, and county departments, we will continue to keep the residents as safe as humanly possible. In doing so, we must also maintain Harris County's reputation as a prime location to locate a business and to live and to raise a family. Notice that I said Harris County. I know the Greater Houston Partnership sponsors trade missions and is keenly interested in economic development. Most trade development activities feature the City of Houston, Port Houston, and the airport system. That makes sense. The world knows Houston. Harris County, not so much. However, many of the companies that move to Houston actually locate in unincorporated Harris County. And of course, the city of Houston, except for a tiny piece, is all within Harris County. Over the years, county government has not engaged much in international economic development. For the most part, I think that stemmed from a reluctance to spend property tax dollars on overseas travel, and that's probably wise. However, I believe Harris County needs to find another way to be part of the global process. For that reason, I have created an international advisory committee. I have hired a consultant to work with the partnership and others to advance Harris County in the international arena. A month ago, also in this very building, HC Events, a nonprofit organization formed by my office, held its 9th annual Harris County International Trade and Transportation Conference. It was a solid success, but more importantly, that organization going forward can provide the resources necessary for Harris County to fully pursue international economic development opportunities with the partnership and with other groups. So we want to be part of that going forward, Bob. We look forward to it working with the City of Houston and the Greater Houston Partnership. Every issue I have discussed, from flood control to emergency management to health care, plus a lot of other important issues, juvenile justice, animal shelters, protective services for adults and children. All those need to be addressed. And they need to be addressed from an innovative perspective that focuses on the future. But that perspective really must recognize the unique reality that is Harris County and its relationship with the City of Houston, with the state of Texas, and with special districts, such as municipal utility districts. With 4.7 million residents, Harris County is the third most populous county in the nation. It's larger than 26 states in terms of population. Almost 2 million of those residents live in unincorporated Harris County, where there is virtually no ordinance-making power, and where services are funded almost exclusively by the property tax. If unincorporated Harris County were a city, it would be the 5th largest city in the United States, just behind Houston and just ahead of Philadelphia, and probably by the year 2020 it would move ahead of the City of Houston. So, state leaders, and some in the legislature, are constantly proposing to tinker with the property tax at the expense of efficient, forward-looking local government. Harris County has low taxes. Harris County has exemplary financial ratings. But some state officials want more restrictions on our ability to meet the needs of our residents. Those same state leaders have shifted the public school tax burden more and more from the state onto local school districts. Then, in an effort to stir up voters, they've attacked counties and cities and other local governments, all the while offering no real solutions. That's got to stop. We've got to work together. Several bills were filed during the legislative session that would force Harris County to get direct voter approval on taxes and spending. One of them had to do with this building across the street, as a matter of fact. Fortunately, that bill did not pass the House. Mr. Speaker, thank you. I was forever hearing the refrain, but what's wrong with letting voters vote on things? Well, such a populist approach might sound reasonable, but the late British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, who nobody ever accused of being a liberal, described direct referendum as, quote, a device for dictators and demagogues. And that's exactly what's been going on. During this year's special session, leaders pushed the idea of limiting Harris County's annual revenue growth to annual state population growth plus inflation. I pointed out that Harris County, particularly unincorporated Harris County, is growing much faster than the state. And the major services we provide, criminal justice, indigent health care, roads and bridges, flood control, are in no way tied to any known measure of inflation. Such legislation is neither logical nor conservative. It merely panders to a narrow self-interest group. So I'm asking today that this organization and other organizations like the Greater Houston Partnership should say enough is enough. I urge you to support vision, not pandering, going forward. Here in Harris County, working with the City of Houston and others, we have an opportunity to create a standard of excellence in a unique urban setting. I look forward to working with Mayor Turner, and by the way, he is not boycotting. He was at the reception, and he had other things to do at lunch, and so we're cool. I've only known him not quite as long as I've known you, but it's been well over 30 years. But not just Mayor Turner, but the officials from the other 33 municipalities in Harris County, as well as academic organizations such as the Kinder Institute. And we need to design and implement a system of urban governance that not only meets the needs of our residents, but that in future years will draw people from around the world to look at what we did and go, wow, look at that. That's the way we need to be doing things. If we are to focus successfully on the future, we need the state of Texas to be a key partner, because county government is an arm of the state. And cities and special districts are controlled to a large degree by the state, so I'm glad all the legislators are here. I think they came because the speaker was here, but that's all right. We need state leaders and legislators to share in shaping a better future, because we are all in this together. But we have a problem. Our tax system is broken. County government relies almost completely on property tax revenue, but the property tax is wildly hated, but it's wholly inadequate as a means of financing the unique urban government that we have. Unfortunately, narrow-minded politics has pushed unfunded mandates from the state down onto county government. Even though Harris County has the most generous residential exemptions in the state and a low overall tax rate, certain state leaders and legislators continually criticize us. It's just pure ugly politics. And by the way, the portion of county taxes paid by businesses, I don't need to tell the business leaders in this room, is growing. We're reaching the point where the tax policies are going to be a drag on economic development. Despite this idea that, yes, we're a low-tax state, but that shift is occurring. I received my home's tax bill recently. Sorry, I'm going to talk about our tax bill. Talk about out of whack. Because of state policy and political decisions at all levels, this year I will pay, it's a public record, by the way, I'm not disclosing anything, $8,038 to the Houston Independent School District, $1,305 to the Harris County Hospital District, but only $216 to the Harris County Flood Control District. What did I keep saying our priority has got to be? It's not going to work if we keep that policy. Despite the problems facing Harris County, I am an eternal optimist. As I said earlier, we have the opportunity to become a model for urban governance. During Harvey, the national media, federal officials, and others came to the Harris County Emergency Operations Center, and comment after comment was, wow, this is the best we've ever seen. You know why? That was a result of decisions made years ago. And I reminded many officials that came into that facility, that Emergency Operations Center wouldn't be there. And it certainly wouldn't be as good if county leaders had been arbitrarily restrained years ago. We were really happy we had that Emergency Operations Center when Harvey visited. We want to make sure that our residents have those types of facilities in the future. If we now focus on the future, people years from now may perhaps marvel at the innovative way we manage stormwater, And Harris County perhaps will be known for its green space and its environmental friendliness, as well as its business climate. The county is ready, but we need partners. Let's think bigger. Let's not be defined only by Harvey. When researchers look for examples of the best programs for mental health, I hope they will be able to look to Harris County, Texas. Hopefully, the state of Texas will move way up from its current ranking of 48th among states in mental health funding. And we can have that partnership because we have to do something about mental health. When a poor person needs health care, I hope they will have a medical home and be able to receive the quality of care one would expect in a county that is home to the world's most outstanding medical center. We should do no less. There are so many other issues to focus on for the future. For example, those whose passion is caring for animals, and I know that there's a table in the back that has several people that are really big on that. They should be able to know in their hearts that the animal shelters in Harris County are the model of compassion and that everything possible is being done to reduce the number of stray animals. Yes, protection from flooding is on our minds, and we will handle that issue. But the goal should be broader. Generations yet to be born should be able to live in the best urban environment with the most effective, efficient government. Those who merely want to complain about local government while offering no vision for the future should be overwhelmed by the same can-do spirit our residents showed during Harvey, and that the Astros showed in winning the World Series. As to the original given topic of this speech, the state of Harris County, the state of Harris County is ready to focus on the future. Thank you very much.